Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Feel the Rhythm. I, of course, am Noops Christenson, and I'll be here a couple times a week to help you not only find some winning bets, but to understand and to find your own winning bets using the great tools at Rithmm.com. That's Rithmm, Rithm.com. If you take a look at the ticker below, you'll find the code Noops25 gets you 7 free days of access to all the great stuff that Rithmm offers, everything we're going to look at here shortly, as well as plenty of other great tools. You'll also get 25% off your first purchase because after 7 days of seeing everything free, folks, you'll be signing up for something. So make sure you use that code. Again, would love for you to be able to take access of everything. Again, not only that we're going to look at today, but they do have all the time over at Rithmm. So let's get into it and see what we can find today in the NBA. As always, we see the main screen here over at Rithmm, and I'd just love to point out tons and tons of other stuff going on. It's baseball season, folks. You can run your own baseball models. There are baseball player props and things like that. Look at that. Gunnar Henderson. Geez, I wonder if that's a good bet. Jackson Merrill, that looks like a solid edge there. Again, tons of stuff. College basketball, only 3 college basketball games left in the tournament, but hopefully you took advantage. A lot of people have done really well with their Rithmm brackets. Yours truly is going to win at least a couple bracket pools as long as Michigan gets the job done and brings home the college basketball title. Golf all the time going. WNBA will be up soon, as well as NFL and college football. But as always, I'm here to talk about the NBA. It's the sport I love and the sport I do best in. And Rithmm does a great job helping me with a lot of this stuff. Again, as I like to say, a tons of great stuff here. Props, something that I look at, again, does very well. If you look at the returns on a lot of these Rithmm props, they've been great. Follow the Rithmm account on Twitter, and you can see a lot of that stuff as it comes through. But for me, it's all about the models, and it's so easy to build your own model. Now, of course, when you start, everyone gets access to the base Rithmm model. As you can see, back tested over close to 500 bets, 10% ROI on spreads, which is studly, and then solid ROIs in money lines and total points. And the way you build your models over at Rithmm, really easy. Sliders. They offer 5 base categories, and there's also a way to build your own if you'd like. Offense, defense, threes, fouls, and tempo. The base Rithmm model balances all of these evenly. You can choose to match that or do things differently. And I'll show you a couple of my models here, but as I mentioned, you can build your own factors. You don't just have to use the offense and defense. If you want to come in and build your own specialized shooting category based on effective field goal percentage, free throw attempts, 3-pointers, and true shooting, and just about every which way you could possibly want to see those numbers per minute, per possession, per game. Offense and defense, you see all different stat categories there. Fouls, you can even get into fouls a little bit more deeply, but I've had success using just the base 5, and I've got 2 models here. One, and again, when I'm building these models, my goal is to try to maximize what I can do for totals. How can I get this ROI on totals to be as good as it possibly can? Going back in this particular model, again, 461 bets, 7% ROI on totals. That's great. And what I've done here is I've eliminated offense and defense. I'm down to just 3 categories here: tempo, or possessions, or pace, as you might know it, fouls, and 3-pointers. And those latter 2 are important because they take the possessions that we quantify in tempo and then value them, because a possession that ends in a foul is more valuable because there's possibility of free throws. 3-pointers, a 3 is worth more than a 2. So a possession that ends in a 3-pointer is often more valuable. So balancing those out, again, you saw a really nice profitability there. My other model I have very similar, and this one does better on spreads, 9.3%, and better on totals. And it's kind of the same idea, but I didn't totally cut out offense and defense. So offense and defense, not nearly as much as threes and fouls, which again, not nearly as much as tempo. Now, we can take a look at all these. We click see our predictions, and here we go. Every single thing that you could possibly want to bet, but it's a lot to look at. So let's try to filter some things here. You can save your filters. It's a really nice feature, but again, I'll walk you through kind of how I do this so you can see. Sort by. We can do recommended. Again, not only does Rithmm go back and back test your models, it figures out what you're good at, what you're bad at. Sometimes you just win bets, but there are parts of models that are a lot stronger. It looks at those and recommends bets. Hit rate over the last 10, Game time, just tip off, start time. DTM, this is Rhythm's own calculation for edge. It basically compares your win chance. It takes your win chance, which is a nice thing to see, but then compares it against the current line. That's the best way for me to go. I'm only interested in games that are today, upcoming only, which means it hasn't started. And I'd like to look at totals. And instead of choosing all three models, because if you remember when I went through them, the Rithmm model, great on spreads, just okay on totals. Whereas these two models are a little bit better. I'll choose those. We hit apply, and let's take a look and see what we got today. A lot going on here. Again, we've got a handful of games. I like to generally look at games with a 10% DTM or higher. So I'll sort of go down here to the bottom. All right, we can start with Sixers Heat. We're showing under 13.5%. But as you can see, you've got that little yellow triangle with the circle. And what it means basically is, again, as I mentioned, Rithmm not only goes through and tracks your ROI, but tries to figure out what kind of bets you're good at or bad at. High totals, low totals, totals featuring certain teams. And in this particular case, as much as the model shows an edge, it's just caution because maybe historically the model not as strong, even though, again, we've got that under. So we'll skip that. Lakers Wizards under 235.5, 13% edge there. That's a very interesting option. I think we'll circle back to that. And then we've got Cavaliers Jazz under 242.5, same edge as that Lakers bet. Both look pretty interesting. What I do like to see, though, is how does the other model feel? Even if maybe it's not recommending, basically that total, can I get both of them to agree? Now with Jazz Cavaliers, we'll see if that pops up. It looks like Lakers Wizards, again, not recommended. It's still cautioned here, but I do like to see that they line up both under here on this game. And Jazz Cavaliers too. So we've got two pretty good options here. I'm going to take a look at Wizards, Lakers. Jazz Cavs is just tough. You've got a team in Utah that plays at one of the fastest paces in the league against a Cavaliers team that really knows how to put it on guys. This one, I like it. Some of the other stuff maybe concerns me a little bit. You can see the hit rate only 4 out of the last 10. But if we look at this Lakers Wizards, 5 out of 10 there. As we start to look at the lineups here, we've got a handful of players that sort of may or may not play here. For the Lakers, we have their injury report here. Luka Doncic is out, as is Marcus Smart. The Wizards, though, second night of a back-to-back. It's unclear who's going to play here. And if we start to look at some of the guys, not a lot of guys here make a big difference. But Trey Johnson here, if we take him out, that lowers the total 6.6 points. Really increases our win chances here. So I like the upside of this where, again, even if Trey Johnson plays, we're looking at a bet where we believe there's a 58% chance of winning. You can see the different prices below. We could pay a little bit more, but even at 236, your base price of minus 110, really solid there. I like this quite a bit. I think this is a solid wager. Let's get it on here. Hit the plus button. You click this menu here. If you want, it'll open up a sports book, bring you over. You can play that. I'm just going to track it. I've already bet it myself. We hit track singles, takes just a minute there, and you'll see Rithmm basically gets this into its system. So you can go back and review your results. That is one of the most important things in terms of betting, being able to see all your results clearly and evaluate yourself, see how you're doing in certain ways. Taking just a little bit longer this morning than it normally would. But we'll let that run. It's still tracking, as you can see. So you can drop the menu, and then we come back here, tracked. It'll pop up over here. Looks like we had something go wrong, so we will try that one more time. Again here, we'll get it up there. Track is a single. And again, taking just a little bit longer today. I saw the check mark up above, so it might be tracked, maybe just not showing up here at this point. We'll go ahead and refresh the screen, see if that helps a little bit. And boom, there it is. It was actually already tracked. And what you can see is it looks like it got tracked twice. Well, what was really nice over here at Rithmm, untracked. There we go. Was able to clear that bet out. So there's a lot of different ways to help yourself there. And again, tracking had a rough last month or so. Lost a unit there, but still a nice ROI plus 4.6% on this process here. And it's this easy, folks. You saw how easy that was. You go in, play around with stuff yourself. If you have any questions on building a model, slide into my DMs and _Noops. Happy to help you kind of walk through all this stuff. But that'll be our bet today. Wizards, Lakers under 235.5. I like that one quite a bit tonight. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And check out Rithmm, RITHMM.com. Use the code Noops25. 7 days free access to everything. You can try it all out. And you'll probably make enough money to pay for the subscription that you can then get 25% off, as you will with the code Noops25 in your first purchase. Thanks again for watching. I'll be back soon. Best of luck until then.